G'day there guys, just want to say hey, you look good today. It's Markee here, and I'm back at it again with another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. Now if you love today's content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, a like on the video, and tell me what you think of it down in the comments. Posted by user Anoni Throwaway. Titled, Am I the A-hole for wanting to bring the partner of my brother to his funeral? A little over a month ago, my little brother, who was 26, passed away in a motorcycle accident. His death was so sudden and hit the family very hard. I honestly still can't believe it. With the pandemic, and now this unexpected loss, we had no idea how to organize a funeral while dealing with our grief. My brother always said that he wanted to be cremated when he died, so at least we were able to honor his wish. It also made it a little easier to take our time to plan a proper service for him without worrying about his body. The week my brother passed, I drove to his apartment to pick up some stuff and met his roommate, I'll call him M, who my sister already told the news. Only I came to find out M was more than that. He was my brother's boyfriend of 5 years. He was so heartbroken and upset, he didn't even try to hide the fact that they were a couple. While I was a bit surprised, I had my suspicion growing up that he might like guys, but I never said anything. Being his older brother and all, I figured that he'd come to me when he was ready. I wound up staying for hours talking to M about my brother and going through photos. Since then, I kept contact with him to see how he's coping, and I started visiting a lot just so that we both had someone to talk to. He's a great guy, and I'm really happy my brother found someone like him to spend his years with. Having these talks with M have also made me feel a lot closer to my brother again. My brother distanced himself from our family at 18 and didn't keep much contact with anyone, even me, despite us being as close as two brothers can be, which, looking back now, I guess I can see why. My family was finally able to organize a proper funeral service for my brother. The service is scheduled for this Friday. We're still limited on how many people can be there, so only close family will be attending, and it'll be live streamed for everyone else. I really think M should be at the funeral. He just lost the love of his life, and he really wants to be there too. We decided to tell my parents he's a really close friend of my brother's. My sister, who apparently knew about them, flipped when she found out. She told me to not bring M because our parents will question who he is, and it might expose the truth about my brother being gay, since they never met him before. We all argued over this, and she pretty much thinks I'd be an a-hole for letting M possibly face ridicule from our family if they found out who he was, because, they're all closed-minded. And I'm also a terrible son if I upset my parents over my brother being gay while they're still grieving him. This is all if they find out. I don't know if they will, but it still doesn't seem fair to not let M be there when he was such an important person in my brother's life. I feel like it's only right to bring him, but maybe I'm letting my emotions get the best of me, and maybe someone with a different perspective can tell me. I think I would be very upset if my partner died, and I wasn't allowed to be at his funeral because some people are upset about my sexuality, and they would rather never learn about me being the brother's partner than have me at the funeral. That's honestly a heartbreaking reality, and I imagine it's a reality for a lot of people, and I wish it wasn't a reality. But I think it's only right to bring him to the funeral. I think he needs that closure. I think he needs to grieve. I think it's disgusting that anyone would ever consider keeping him from the funeral. Not the a-hole. Update. Thank you so much to everyone for your support and ensuring me that we're doing the right thing here. I know I won't be able to reply to every single comment, so just wanted to express my gratitude. Also, I did want to say, since people keep telling me to warn M about my family, he is aware about how they are, since my brother told him all about them and knows what he might be dealing with if anyone finds out. He still made the choice to be there, and prefers being introduced as only my brother's best friend. Not because of my family's homophobic views, but because he wants peace for himself at the funeral. If anyone does find out though, he won't be alone. I'll be standing by his side, so anybody wanting to cause problems will be dealing with me. So please don't worry, I won't let anyone ruin his last chance for us to say goodbye to my dear baby brother. In a perfect world, your sister's concerns wouldn't matter, but it's not a perfect world. To me, if M knows the risks and is willing to come anyway, let him. Maybe your parents will surprise you and be happy that your brother found someone so wonderful. Not the a-hole, by the way. And OP says, I highly doubt it. They're not the most open-minded people when it comes to the LGBT community. M is aware of the risks and knows how my family is. I really don't think there's a possibility he'll be outed somehow, but my sister seems to think so. M should be there, and as your brother's long-term partner, I think M can make the right choice about whether to present himself as the partner or the friend. He shouldn't have to closet himself at his partner's funeral for the sake of your estranged parents. But whatever M decides, he should be there. So sorry for your loss. Updates. Am I the a-hole for wanting to bring the partner of my brother to his funeral? M went to the funeral, and I introduced him to everyone as my brother's roommate and best friend. My sister was visibly bothered, but she didn't say anything. As expected, everyone, including my parents, were too upset to think about him being there, and were still very welcoming towards him. They didn't speculate or react the way my sister thought they would, and I knew they wouldn't. We were all focused on my brother. It was a beautiful service. I'm glad M was a part of this, and that my brother got a proper send-off. It was very difficult, and it hurt so much to say goodbye. I really hope we did right by my brother, and it was how he would have wanted it. Thank you to whoever suggested an urn necklace that M could keep some of my brother's ashes in. I brought this up to him and asked if that was something that he wanted. I was going to get part for myself, while my parents kept most of it, and then I would just split the ashes with M. M didn't know that was a thing, but he said that he liked the idea. He got himself a beautiful pendant to keep the ashes in, and he really loves it, so thanks again to the person who commented this. It was a lovely suggestion, and it means so much to him to have a piece of my brother with him at all times. I still have kept contact with M since the funeral. He's stopped by a couple of times, and has finally met my wife and daughter. I also try to see him when I have the chance, just to make sure he's okay. This has understandably taken a huge toll on him. He's told me he started talking to someone to help cope with the grief, which I think is great. I myself had a bit of a wake-up call that therapy was something I very much needed right away. My wife brought it to my attention that our 5-year-old has noticed that I've stopped eating, and now she doesn't want to eat either unless I do. I don't know, I guess I haven't been able to eat because I feel like I don't deserve it, if that makes any sense. It hit me that what I'm going through was starting to affect my family, so I'm currently looking up grief counseling in my area. I've also made an effort to eat more in front of my daughter, so she knows that I'm fine, and it's okay to eat, hiding the fact that it still makes me sick to my stomach. Things are still rough, and wounds are yet to heal, but we're all surviving. Thank you everyone for all your kindness and support. It was very reassuring to know that this was the right thing, and M deserved to be there. Thinking back now, it should have been a no-brainer, but emotions were high, and it was better to get an outsider's perspective. I appreciate everyone's input, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bless you for accepting M with open arms, an open heart and mind. You are a wonderful person for accepting your brother's partner without questions or judgment, and giving him a safe place to express his grief and sorrow. Bless your soul for acknowledging your own sorrow is affecting your child. You are a strong, caring individual for accepting that you are not handling your sorrow well, and that you need assistance processing and healing. My heart goes out to you. I am so terribly sorry for your loss. You have a lot of healing to do. But it seems that you have a great support system. Your brother's partner will need support as well, and it seems like you are doing an amazing job at stepping in and stepping up. I do believe that you two developing a friendship may help in the healing process. Take care, darling, and may your brother's soul be at rest, and may your hearts be at peace. And OP says, thank you so much for your kind words. They mean a lot. I'm beyond grateful M and I have become close friends. It's helped immensely and has made me feel so much closer to my brother than I have in years. Posted by user Cucumber Connoisseur, titled, Am I the a-hole for eating too many cucumbers? This is perhaps the most bizarre Am I the a-hole post I have ever written, but I'm honestly so confused. I feel like I can't possibly be the a-hole, but then sometimes people are too blind to see their own flaws, so maybe I really am. For as long as I can remember, I've had this quirk, I guess you could call, that I never snack on anything other than cucumber. I shouldn't say never, technically, since socially I'll get ice cream or eat a few chips at a party. Like, I'm not a picky eater by any means, but my snack of choice has always been cucumbers. I eat pretty healthily anyways, so a lot of fruits and veggies are a part of my diet. Since veggies are lower in calories, I have to eat a lot of them to eat enough. So I'll usually have some sliced cucumber in my purse that I munch on throughout the day, and I'll always have a cucumber in my car that I just eat whole when I'm driving. I go through several cucumbers daily. Although it's not healthy, I've had days where I've felt really depressed and overwhelmed and have binge-eaten nothing but cucumber. I think I've eaten perhaps 35 on very extreme days. Recently, this quirk has begun to drive my 22 female boyfriend, 33 male, of 6 months insane. His words, not mine. He says it's highly inappropriate to carry them everywhere with me. We spent last weekend at his parents' lake house, and I provided my own cucumber to snack on. One night before bed, I was in my room, gnawing on a cucumber like a savage, when his mother walked in. Under normal circumstances, I never would eat that around others. I'd slice it up. She was puzzled, but chuckled and said, "Oh my, you do like cucumber?" My boyfriend later told me that I humiliated him with my childish and immature eating habits. I told him that his mum caught me in a low moment. He was being ridiculous since he eats a bag of chips every day and I don't bat an eye. He told me that chips were a normal snack and whole cucumbers were deranged. He told me I needed to stop eating cucumbers and that my behavior was a deal breaker for him. I feel really bothered, but I think cucumbers are a weird hill to die on, and I don't want to lose my relationship. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. I'd just like to add that my boyfriend has never expressed any issue with my cucumber habits before now. The incident in question was because around 8 p.m. I was getting really hungry, and I don't know his family super well, so I didn't want to go rummaging and ask for a snack, and I didn't want to bother them by asking for a cutting board or something to cut up my cucumber because of, well, mild social anxiety. So I shut myself in the guest room and figured I'd just snack on a cucumber quick. I don't usually go and hide and eat cucumbers, okay? But then his mum walked in looking for my boyfriend, presumably, and was a little surprised, but seemed amused and not upset or anything. I honestly didn't think it'd turn into such a big deal for him. I'm just gonna go out of the gates here and say, not the a-hole. I mean, it's a bit peculiar that all you ever eat for a snack is cucumbers, but there's worse things in this universe. People just sculling tomato sauce that show my weird habits or whatever it is. Like that one woman that just eats couch cushion. That genuinely makes my head spin. I don't understand it. I feel like cucumber is a nice, sane habit to be having. Them judging you for that is really odd. I can see why they think it's so weird, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. Cucumber's nice. It's a healthy snack. Literally nothing wrong with that in my books. It's a bit odd that she just walked in on you like that, but it is what it is. I don't think you're an a-hole in this situation. Not the a-hole. Dump your boyfriend and enjoy your cucumbers. Note, I personally find cucumbers disgusting, and it would still never occur to me to care about this. I mean, it's not unusual, but people have quirks, and if he's controlling about cucumbers, didn't think that'd be a sentence I'd write, find a man with bigger concerns in his life. This isn't a quirk, it's disordered eating. The boyfriend may be an a-hole, but this is by no means a quirk or even remotely normal. She does have a problem. I would be concerned about this too, although probably not because my mum saw her eat it. What exactly is her problem? How is it disordered? I understand that nothing but 35 cucumbers in a day is definitely a problem, but that sounded less like a pattern and more like a one-off instance caused at least in part by depression. I'm genuinely curious. Am I missing something here? Yeah. Disordered eating can come in many forms, and being so fixated on one food in a way that's clearly interfering with her life to the point that she has to hide her obsession is a pretty big sign. This isn't quite the same thing, but for reference, there is an eating disorder centered around being obsessed with healthy eating called orthorexia, that most people wouldn't realize is a problem. Not the a-hole. I, 22 female, and my boyfriend, 33 male, was enough for me to be on guard, and the rest of the story confirms it. It's rich that he called you childish when he's dating someone so young. I know, right? And OP, I devour whole cucumbers all the time, and bits and all. I love them as well. Don't feel bad about eating cucumbers, and I doubt his mother made that remark to put you down. To me, it sounded more like an observation, an attempt to make a little small talk. He is the one with the problem, not you. Updates. Am I the a-hole for eating too many cucumbers? I didn't expect my first post to really get any attention, so I would like to thank you all for taking the time to read it and giving your judgment. To those of you who expressed concern for my cucumber addiction and that I have an eating disorder, I can assure you that I am perfectly healthy. I wouldn't consider myself addicted, nor do I have an eating disorder at all. I just really enjoy my cucumbers. I can go days without eating them. I don't need my cucumber fix. It's just that if I'm going to snack, I'd prefer to eat a cuke. It's a really weird name for them, but okay. I would consider the amount I snack on cucumbers proportional to the amount my boyfriend or any normal person would snack on chips or other junk food. I just occasionally eat more since they are so low in calories. Additionally, I have had a few cucumber binges. I am well aware that those are not healthy, just like binging on junk food isn't healthy. But that's extremely uncommon for me, and for the most part, I eat a well-balanced and healthy diet. However, I will talk to my doctor about it to ensure that it is not worrying. As for my boyfriend, we ended up calling it quits. I was pretty hurt at first, but I think perhaps his huge reaction to cucumbers was indeed a red flag for controlling behavior. I think that he was trying to call my bluff, expecting me to give up my cukes for him, so the breakup took him a bit by surprise too. How it went down was that I told him we needed to have a chat. I told him that it was unacceptable to tell me what I was allowed to eat. I added that if listening to me chow down on cucumbers was what bothered him, as some of you in the comments noted, I would avoid eating them when he was around. Apparently, the very idea of me eating so many cucumbers was driving him nuts and not the noise. I decided to try and compromise. He was a pretty heavy drinker and will get drunk pretty often. I know that it's very bad for his health, and I have expressed that concern in the past. I told him that I'd give up cucumbers if he gave up alcohol. He declined my offer, threw out a few uncreative insults and expletives, and I am now writing this from my mum's couch with a cucumber in my hand and a cucumber in my heart. I'm still unclear on why the cucumbers were such an issue, why I could never eat them again, why me suggesting he give up alcohol was such a big deal, among other things. But I guess I'll never know now. Edits. Thank you so much for the awards. I'm so honored, and I'm really glad to know those are hugs. I always thought they were judgmental Ewoks. Edit 2. I seem to have forgotten to add this, as it was a common question on the original post, and I'm seeing it in the comments now. No, I did not eat 35 of those mammoth cucumbers. My eating habits may be odd, but I'm not completely insane. I think on my last cucumber binge, which occurs super rarely, and it was quite a while ago, I had maybe 3 or 4 big ones, and the rest were mini cukes. I do buy a lot of them at the grocery store, but I have a cucumber dealer who hooks me up with huge batches. And for those of you upset at my use of the word cuke, here you go. May your lives be enriched. And that link is to the YouTube episode of VeggieTales Minnesota Cuke and the Search for Noah's Umbrella. Very interesting, that is. Very interesting. Edit 3. Just for some clarification for those who think my boyfriend is completely justified in his cucumber hate and that I'm a lunatic, I agree. Sort of. If he had been bothered by the chewing or concerned about my health, I was ready to talk about it and work something out. I didn't enter into the discussion for a fight or with the intention of breaking up. His attempted grasp for control over my food wasn't even the reason why I broke up with him. But when he started shouting at me and called me a tramp, which he had never done before, I decided to end things. Imagine being dumped by your girl because she'd rather eat cucumbers than be with you. I know that's not actually the reason, but the thought had me howling. And OP says, yeah, he was pretty ticked. You can take the cucumbers away from the girl, but you can't take the girl away from the cucumbers. Just gotta say, after reading your original post and update, I thought, a nice fresh cucumber sounds pretty good right now. Went to my fridge and now typing this while munching on a cold, crisp cuke. Ha, that's absolutely fantastic. Ha, good to know I wasn't the only one who read the first post and said, damn, I don't usually eat cucumbers by themselves, but that actually sounds kinda good right now. Then for dinner I made a tomato and cucumber salad with balsamic vinaigrette, and it was delicious. I do tomato cucumber tossed with some feta cheese, olive oil with sea salt and pepper. Stopping at the store on my way home. I could go for some of that right now, not gonna lie. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enabled me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.